We were blessed with one of the all-time great wide receiver classes in the 2024 NFL Draft. While the 2025 NFL Draft may not be as top-heavy, there are some potential future superstars in this class who I think could be major difference makers at the NFL level. And my favorite part about this draft is that there are so many different types of players. You've got your jump ball receivers, you've got your prototypical X, you've got a ton of slot guys, and I think Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan was one of those players who absolutely stood out on tape and is a player you guys should have on your radar early on in the 2025 NFL Draft prospect. What makes him such a special wide receiver, and is he the top wide receiver in the class? That's what we will be going over in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon, where for only $5 a month, you guys will get exclusive access to my big board, prospect evaluations, interviews, early access to videos, fantasy leagues, and much more. But without further ado, let's take a closer look at Tetairoa McMillan. In the second half of last season, Tetairoa McMillan solidified himself as one of the top wide receivers in college football. During the 2023 season, he finished with 1,396 yards and 10 touchdowns on 90 receptions. He became the go-get-it guy for quarterback Noah Fifita, his high school quarterback, and he absolutely thrived. His 2024 expectations are sky high, and he could absolutely have an even bigger season with a full year of Fifita at the helm. McMillan has one of the more impressive body types at the wide receiver position that you're ever going to see. He is 6'5", 205 pounds, and is an absolute freak of nature. He has the height obviously, but his length plays a big part in his success, and he is immediately super intriguing simply because he has a unique size profile that not very many players possess. The size only means so much, however, and McMillan is much more than just a big receiver. He is a lot more fluid of an athlete than you'd expect. He's got some really solid speed and is able to generate a step deep down the field and win. He also shows some solid wheels after the catch, and he had 537 yards after the catch in 2023, and he shows some pretty solid speed, which is something that you don't often find with these big-bodied wide receivers. The best part of McMillan's game, however, and the part that people are just going to fall in love with, are his physicality and his hands. McMillan makes some of the most unreal catches you'll ever see, and he has exceptional body control as well. It reminds me of DeAndre Hopkins in the way he can contort his body to pull in just about any football that gets thrown his way. He only had 2 drops in 2023, but it goes deeper than that. He had a 50% contested catch rate, and even when he has defenders draped all over him, he has the physicality to win those jump balls. We saw a bunch of highlights going around this offseason of him making unbelievable grabs in practice, and those are the type of catches you'll see him make in games. He has unbelievable hands, and I think it's his best trait overall in his entire game. McMillan is nowhere near a perfect wide receiver prospect. He has his shortcomings, and unfortunately a lot of them come athletically. While he has good speed in the open field, he lacks some real quickness and twitch in his game. This is especially apparent in 2 areas. One, McMillan really didn't do well against press coverage. He didn't have the quick off the line of scrimmage, and he really lacked any sort of release package, so that's an area I want to see him improve on. The other area is his route running. While I think he's a solid route runner, once again, there isn't a lot of quickness when breaking out of his routes, and he struggled to consistently gain separation. He was great on short to intermediate routes, quick comebacks, and things of that nature, but he did have some issues separating down the field, winning across the middle, and that's something he's going to have to improve at if he's going to be a true number 1 receiver at the NFL level. While McMillan has some areas to improve, he is still an excellent wide receiver prospect. I think he can be a number 1 at the NFL level. I see him as that prototypical X, do-it-all receiver. A guy you can line up outside, he can win deep, he can make plays happen in the middle of the field, and we didn't even talk much about this, but between the numbers, McMillan was absolutely fantastic and was where a lot of his damage was done. He attacks the middle of the field, and because of his hands and large catch radius, he's going to be a quarterback's best friend at the next level. There are some limitations in his game, which is why he comes in at my wide receiver 2. I think in a weird way though, it's not the biggest deal that McMillan can't separate as well, simply because he just catches everything regardless on if he has the separation or not. Obviously, it's a tool he needs to add to his game, and right now we really haven't seen it. He's an awesome player nonetheless, and he comes in as a preseason top 10 player in the class for me. In terms of a player comparison, we mentioned DeAndre Hopkins and his ability to just catch everything, but I think his skill set is more reminiscent of Mike Evans. Mike Evans has a very comparable skill set to McMillan. Neither are crazy athletic, but they both have sneaky speed to win deep. They have excellent hands, good ball tracking ability, they're very physical wide receivers, and can be number 1 weapons on very good teams. Evans remains one of the most underrated players in the league, and I think McMillan has a ton of the same traits, so that's my comparison for him. Tetairoa McMillan has terrific hands. While he may lack quickness, McMillan is a wide receiver who does the dirty work and can win the contested catches. He's a really physically gifted wide receiver, and if he can improve his route running, will be a game wrecker at the next level. Ultimately, I believe Tetairoa McMillan will be a top 20 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.